After our legendary Vegas trip, where Greg's schedule was torn to shreds faster than a tourist's map at a crowded strip club, we thought, what's next? The answer, Aspen, the land of ski slopes, overpriced hot chocolate, and of course Greg's ironclad, budget-friendly itinerary. Little did Greg know we were about to turn his meticulous plans into our personal playground. He thought he could control our fun with laminated sheets of doom, not on our watch. We arrived in Aspen, where the snow was powdery, the air was thin, and Greg was holding his laminated itinerary like it was the Holy Grail. "Guys," he said, "I found the perfect lodge. Budget-friendly and cozy. We'll ski, eat quick, and have a relaxed night in with board games." He looked at us, waiting for applause. We all exchanged glances. The last time we followed Greg's relaxed schedule, we ended up eating a $5 sandwich in the middle of nowhere. This time, we'd play it differently. "We'll stick to the plan, Greg," I said, giving him my most innocent look. Strict compliance. The next morning, Greg was in full control mode. "I've mapped out the perfect beginner slopes," he declared proudly. "No need to waste money on fancy slopes. Let's just stick to what's easy and affordable." I saw Dave's eyes glint with mischief. This is where it gets fun. "Yeah, Greg, let's stick to the plan," I said. "But, maybe we can do just one black diamond run, just to test our skills, for efficiency." Greg didn't even hear us. He was too busy adjusting his skis like a dad at Disney World. 5 minutes later, Dave and I were practically launching ourselves off the Widowmaker, a slope so steep it had a warning sign that said, "Not for the faint of heart or the ill-prepared." We went full send. By the time we reached the bottom, we were snow-covered, out of breath, and trying to hold back fits of laughter. When we returned to the lodge, Greg was waiting, clipboard in hand, face redder than a stop sign. "Where were you?" he snapped. "You missed the lunch window. I said 12 p.m. sharp." I looked at my watch. It was 12:15. "We were sticking to the schedule, Greg. Just a couple of extra minutes for efficiency. Testing our limits." Greg's jaw almost hit the floor. After an entire morning of defying Greg's command to be economical, it was time for lunch. Greg had chosen a local diner that promised budget-friendly sandwiches for $10, as if we could resist a challenge. "I'll take the ham sandwich," I said. "But can I swap the ham for double turkey and add bacon? Maybe avocado on the side. And can I get a side of fries, extra crispy?" Mike went next, requesting a little extra cheese on his sandwich and asking for a splash of truffle oil, because why not? Greg looked at us like we'd just ordered the entire menu. "Guys, seriously? We're blowing the budget." "We're sticking to the plan, Greg," Dave said, his voice dripping with fake sincerity. "We're just enhancing the experience. It's value for money." Greg's face was green by the time the bill came, and when the waiter handed it to him, Greg's hand shook. "This is insane. We're ruining the plan." "No, Greg," I said, "we followed the plan, just with some upgrades." By the evening, Greg's relaxing night in front of the fireplace with Monopoly was not what we had in mind. "Let's hit the bars," I whispered to the crew. "It's Aspen. We didn't come here to color in a Monopoly board." "Agreed," said Dave, eyes wide with the thrill of chaos. We told Greg we were going to stargaze. He nodded like we were a group of well-behaved children and shuffled off to the lodge where he would no doubt be scribbling down tomorrow's timetable. We made a beeline for a rooftop bar that overlooked the Aspen slopes. The drinks were pricey, but we deserved it. A round of cocktails arrived with sparkles, and Dave took the opportunity to order the most ridiculous drink on the menu, one with a literal firecracker in it. "For Greg," he said with a wink. Mike sipped his cocktail with a dramatic flair and said, "To freedom," while wearing a goofy grin. It was pure defiance in liquid form. Later, we hit the nightclub and found the perfect opportunity to bring back our signature move, the Greg. The beauty of it was that it could be performed anywhere, at any time, no music required. We took to the dance floor, expertly waving invisible clipboards, checking imaginary schedules, and doing a series of frantic arm flails that screamed, "I'm on a tight timeline." It was like a man who desperately needed to check his watch but was too busy trying to avoid stepping on his own feet. People stared at us in confusion, but it didn't matter. The moment we got on the floor, the Greg became the latest trend in club moves, right up there with the electric slide and the Macarena. Meanwhile, Greg was likely still staring at his watch, wondering where we'd gone wrong. The next morning, Greg was waiting for us, eyes wild. "Where were you last night?" he demanded. "You ditched the plan. You were supposed to be in by 9 p.m. "We were," I said, holding back a grin. "We just didn't specify what time we'd leave the bar." Greg glared, realizing he had no comeback, but he couldn't help himself. "You guys ruined the whole trip. I had everything planned out and you just ignored the rules." I shrugged. "Greg, we followed the rules. We just didn't mention the details. We're very efficient that way." Greg stomped off, but I could tell he was secretly plotting his next move. But we knew, if he tried to plan another trip, we'd already have a backup schedule ready. Back in the group chat, Greg sent one last furious message, claiming we had ruined the trip and that next time he was going to enforce his rules even more strictly. We didn't respond. Instead, we shared our best pictures from the rooftop bar, our drinks sparkling and our faces glowing with the joy of rebellion. Greg, of course, ignored them all. As we boarded the plane home, we exchanged one last look, full of glee and satisfaction. Greg could plan the next trip all he wanted, but we knew how this game worked. The plan was already ours, and in the end, we were all just a little bit richer, thanks to those extra sandwiches and sparklers.